Okay, hey, Coach.
Hey. Awesome. Hey, beautiful. How you doing?
Were you able to help Frances? I tried to send her my link, and I guess it didn't work.
Oh, she got it. She should come on in.
Okay.
And I think, our participants are coming in. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We will be getting started. So to get started, I want to have all of my participants to chit chat with me a little bit in our chat box, if you can. I hope the chat box will allow us to chat with each other. I'm going to say hello to everybody, and then I just want you guys to say hello, tell me your name and the name of your childcare program and how many staff you have. Okay. So we have Leslie Ann on, we have LaShawn on, we have Jamie. Thank you. She said we look amazing. Thank you. Angela is on. She's from We Play Drop Zone, and I have 8 staff. Welcome, Angela. Jamie is on. She's from Cali, and she just opened her center, so no staff yet. This is going to be great for you. LaShawn, she's with Tiny Tigers Learning Center. She has 13 staff. Awesome. Awesome. Kids Academy, she has 5 members. Kids Academy, tell us your name. We want to say hey. We want to know your name.
Hi.
Yep. So we have Kids Academy on. We have several attendees still coming in. Let's see who else we got coming in. Divine Child Care. We have Catherine with Kingdom Kids Academy. Awesome. Catherine has 5 staff members, so that is awesome. Let's see who else. We got some more that's going to be coming in. Please state your name. Cheryl Knowles, Small Voices, 9 staff. Maureen, she has Sparrow Kids Services, 1 staff. I love it. Nadia Graves with Charity Child Care Center, 3 C's, Aftercare, Upcoming Business, no staff. All right. We are going to get started. We just got a lot of people coming in. So give us 1 second. I'm trying to get one of our panelists to come in as well. Today it's going to be really, really good. And I'm looking forward to today's Brainstorming with Bosses. So for those of you who are new, we have Magda. She's with Home Environment Child Care. We have Zernetta, A Cup Full of Love. I love that. I have 7 staff members. I love it. Joy says she can't hear. We're neither one of us.
Coach, take your mute off. Coach, you just muted yourself.
Okay, I can hear myself. Joy was saying she can't hear. It may be on her end. Mike Wells said, hey, Coach Lizette. This is Mike Wells from the Breakfast Club Child Care, 7 staff. Thank you, ladies. You're so welcome. Latoya Zachary says she's from Leah's Playhouse Family Child Care. Marcia is from Heaven's Angels Earth Treasure Learning Academy, 1 staff. I love it. Mahalia, she's from the Kid Network, 8 staff. AWCD Lions, 3 staff. Kathy Hughes, Kids Child Care Plus, 5 staff. Awesome. Goodness, does anybody have over 20 staff members? If you have over 20 staff members, please press 1. If you have over 20 staff members, please press 1. Wow. Nicole Holdman, Letitia Moore. Awesome. Nicole, she's like, I got 20. Oh, I got 20. I love that. Hi, Francis. Welcome. Good to have you on. We got you on mute for a second, but that's okay. Well, let me go ahead and give our introduction. I'm pretty sure that the rest of our participants will be coming on soon. Catherine says, everyone looks amazing. Well, awesome, awesome, awesome. We look amazing. Yes, thank you. Well, today I just want to welcome you guys to our Brainstorming with Bosses. This is our executive level activity that we wanted to give to our Eye on the Daycare network, or anyone that you've shared the link with. We wanted to give this so that those of you who are working with staff, those of you who are working in your childcare business during this pandemic, that you can get some inspiration and motivation. And so our Brainstorming with Bosses is exactly what it is. The more you participate, the more you ask questions, the more we're going to brainstorm together to help give you some content and some strategies to help you succeed. If you guys do not know who we are, I'm going to go through and do a formal introduction. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background about JumpStart Bosses. It's our online sisterhood and network of childcare business owners where we travel the world together, we exchange resources, and we shift our lives and our business and take it to the next level. That's our vision. That's what we do. And we do that by having monthly small goals of accountability. So that monthly small goal is a goal setting course, which is also our accountability class. We read a book together so that we can renew our mind. We also have our master classes where we have an expert come on each month and give us guidance in an area that helps us operate on a different level, perform better in our business, and also just reach our goals and learn more and do more. And then we have our options of having, once this pandemic changes, we have our options of having our mentorship live events that's a part of JumpStart Bosses. And so it's a lot of stuff that goes on in JumpStart Bosses. We also have like our home study program where you all receive a monthly lesson through email and a workbook and video. So we have a lot of content for professional growth and development so that we can really maximize our fullest potential, accomplish more in our business, and also have that support. Because right now, with challenges that we're facing, a lot of times we are in situations where we feel alone. So when you are in an environment like this, you're learning something new each month and you're getting that support that you need. That's what's going to motivate and push you towards goal achievement. Just like August for most of our bosses was absolutely amazing. I'm just floored. If we could, we had people make just $15,000 moments because of information that they have applied in their business, that they're learning, they're applying it in their business. And so to have a 15K moment, not a day, but just a moment. Okay, just like one moment, $15,000 changed your life. So I think that is absolutely amazing. So if you guys have not thought about joining us, an investment of $47 can get you in our limited edition level. And for those of you that are saying I want to be more engaged and more involved, $297 will definitely put you in the JumpStart Bosses executive level. So just want to give you an intro of the JumpStart Bosses. And now I want to introduce my panelists that are here with me today, and then I'll introduce myself later. But as you all see, we have Miss Lizette Reid, and Lizette and I have known each other for almost, 10 years now?
I think so, yes.
Yes, almost 10 years. And she has a powerful story, and she's going to, I want her to, I don't know if she planned on doing it, but I want for her to share her growth and development that she's had since she's entered into the childcare industry. And after we hear from Lizette, then I'm going to come back on, and then I'm going to speak a little bit about Francis, and then we're going to go into our brainstorming session. So it's going to be where we need your interaction too, because this is how you brainstorm. You brainstorm by asking questions, you brainstorm by listening, but you gain more through participation. So we definitely want, for those of you that are on, if you could type on your phone a question, do that. If you can, I don't think you could talk on this one, so I better not say talk, but if you could type in the chat box, that will be really, really good, so that we can know that you have a question or you got some feedback that you want to add. That'll be really, really good. So make sure you all participate today. So again, Lizette, I want you to take over. Tell us your story a little bit so that they'll know like your journey. I just want them to hear, like, hey, I started out working and now I'm a boss. Come on, tell them the story, girl.
Oh, goodness, Coach. I was not expecting to tell a story today. I'm just going to be honest, but since Coach did bring it up, yes, I started in the child care industry as an employee, as an aide, as a floater, as you would call it. I think I told some of you guys that weren't on a call the previous week that I started out making $5.75 as a floater and an aide. I went to school. I was going to school. I had came back home. I went away to college. I had came back home and I needed work, right? So I started working back in the childcare. During that time, they had teach available and funding available. And so I decided to go back to school again, but this time for early childhood education. My first time was in criminal justice. So I have like several credits in criminal justice, but I went back for early childhood education. And while I was going back for early childhood education, a lot of the employees in that childcare, they were going for their CDAs. At that time, I did not want to stop and just get a CDA. But once I heard about the bonus and I realized that it would be much quicker, especially if I enter into an accelerated program, I said, okay, I can get my associates in early childhood and I can get my CDA. So I went through, and plus a lot of the staff at that facility needed help. And because I was already a college student, they asked me questions. And so I just said, let me just take advantage of this opportunity and go back to school, enter into the course for CDA. So I did that. Of course, I received my CDA before I received my associate's degree, but I did receive my CDA. So I was able to help the staff there. I started out, after being an aide, I was like you can call it aftercare person. So I didn't really have a title. I was just like the aftercare person. And I worked with the school age children at that time, right? Because I looked young, I was younger. They thought I was energetic. So they put me with the school age children. And then after that, they were like, okay, so she has her associate, she has her CDA. How about we just make her the assistant director? So at that time, I was the assistant director. I was the assistant director for 10 years, up until that child care pretty much decided to close. The visionary had passed away. He had passed away, and his wife decided that she didn't have a desire for the church. He did. So she closed that child care down. And during that portion, one of my aunts opened up a child care, right? So one of my aunts opened up a childcare. I was in my bachelor's program. I worked for her as her director for free for about a year while I.
They don't make them like you no more. Ain't nobody working for free no more.
Yes, for free, because she wanted to pay me on a stipend, and I was fine, right? Because sometimes you just have to sow where you want to go, right? So I was fine with that at that time, just going to school and then assisting her and looking for the stipend. But some things she didn't do correctly, so sometimes I wouldn't get a stipend that month. I'm just going to be honest, right? So sometimes I wouldn't get a stipend, and then shortly after, I realized my worth and my value. And I think, Coach, you were talking about that in the last just knowing your value. And I started applying for other directors' positions. And so I became a director at a childcare facility. It had 82 children, it had 20 staff. And I remember just going in there, and he asked me, the owner was a gentleman, he asked me, where was I going to be in the next 5 years? And I said, oh, I'm going to own my own childcare. Well, during that portion, during this whole thing, of course, I have my own children. And at that time, they're teens now, but they were much younger. And they were attending a separate childcare. They never went to the childcare that I worked at until I picked them up and brought them there. I was a different type of employee. So don't don't base your employees on what I did. But I would. She's elderly now, so she's about in her 80s. Her husband passed, and at that time she didn't want a childcare anymore. So she would talk to me about, hey, Lizette, can you come help out at my childcare and things of that sort. But by that time, I was on salary, and I was a director, and I had my bachelor's degree, and I thought I was doing something then, right? Like, oh no, I'm here, I'm salary now. And so she had talked to my husband one day, and she was ready. She was really ready to leave. And at that time, we decided that I was a great employee for somebody else, and it was time for me to boss up and be.
Wow.
And so we invested in us, and we rent her building out, and it'll be 9 years. It's 9 years this year. It'll be 10 years next year.
Wow.
I earned my master's degree. Several years ago. And at that point, I went through for my master's degree. We talk about other streams of income and JumpStart bonuses. And so I went through for my master's degree because while I was going through school for early childhood education, I noticed none of my teachers looked like me. None of my teachers looked like me, and they wanted to tell me theory, but I knew experience, and I knew experience taught me that sometimes when you look at theory, you really have to work to put in those theories into practice. And so I knew that I wanted to be a college professor. And so that's why I went back and I earned my master's degree several years ago. And so that I can teach on a college level, because I knew I would have free time because my children would be older. And so now I do teach on a college level. I also help staff go through the process of their CDA. I also train staff. So one of the things that I love to do, I guess because I was a great employee, I love to train staff. I love to help them work with children, give them those practical ideas in their language that they can understand. So I do that as well, first aid and CPR. I'm a PD specialist, and I just love all things childcare.
That is huge. Everybody, come on, give me some likes. Well, you can't give me likes on this, but press like 2. Be like, yes, I'm excited to hear from Lizette. Somebody give me some tools. Look, everybody, somebody's put clap, clap, clap. I got like 4 tools. Come on. Oh my goodness, all of these tools are coming out. They're so excited to hear from you on today. Such an amazing journey, Lizette. Big ups to you. You are definitely changing the scope of early childhood care and education, because you showed up, the game changed. So I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited, you guys. We have an amazing teacher class that's coming up next weekend. And so we are going to have Lizette and Francis Davis and myself motivate, inspire, and train your team in an area of motivation, understanding social emotional development, dealing with clients and staff, using customer service as a forefront. So you guys make sure that you all become a part of that, because we're going to be sending you a link in just a second inside of our group so that you guys can get your tickets. I have tickets that were regular $197, but for those of you who want to hear these topics and strategies that these experts are going to share share, you can get your ticket for only $97, and that will cover all your staff. So you can have 10 people watching the same Zoom. Everybody will get their own Zoom link. Everybody will log on. They can log on from the comfort of their home. And then they will also get a certificate for being a part of the training. So this is going to be amazing. It's going to be easy to do, to get your staff to say, hey, log on, get your training that you need right here. And then they'll be able to just get some content and information that's going to change their mind. One thing that I know is that right now, everybody's talking about COVID, the pandemic, loss of wages, low enrollment, issues, not showing up, going to work. You know, it's a lot of conversations being had. But one thing I want to do is I want to put a conversation in their minds that's going to help them believe in themselves, be motivated and inspired to assist you to run a successful childcare business. Sometimes you can't tell people how much to support you unless you have somebody else rooting for you. So we're going to be rooting for you to get your team on board with you, to get your team on board with your vision, to get your team to thinking bigger. We're that escape person you need to intercede for you and to root for you to get your team on board. So listen, if you want for me to send you that link, go ahead and inbox me, Coach. I want the link. I'm going to sign my team up. $97 is an investment to help my team shift. So if you want that link, just type in Andrea Dickerson and I'll get it to you. Well, let's get ready to introduce our next boss. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right, so Francis and I, we have been on the same team for almost 10 years now, huh, Francis? Is it about 10 years?
Almost 10.
Almost 10. I love it. So Camille says she wants the link. All right, Camille, I'm going to send you the link while Francis is introducing herself. So one of the things that I want to do is introduce you all to Francis. She has been coaching with me, and I remember the conversation we had. She said that she really want to help childcare business owners and just help in the childcare industry, and customer service was something that evolved. And when she spoke it to me, I was like, yes, if you guys recognize Francis, she travels the world with me. She makes sure that you all get signed in and register for your conference when you go out live with us. And so that's her. Yes, that's what she does. Customer service is what she does. And when she says she wants to deliver that to the world, I was like, that's it, Francis. So without further ado, Francis, I want you to talk to our panelists, our guests today, and tell them about yourself.
Well, thank you, Coach.
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to make it as short as I can, but I didn't start off wanting to be in childcare at all. It wasn't even on my agenda. It wasn't a thought process for me. I went away to school to teach kindergarten. I love preschoolers. If I taught, it would be preschool. I love that age group. And so I went off to school after high school to college to become a kindergarten teacher or elementary school teacher. Some things happened. I ended up coming back with a baby, not a degree, but that's okay. That's okay.
Baby instead of a degree.
Right. That baby changed my life. So, but all is well. I had a lot of things to learn along the way, but basically when I came back home with him, I had to get a job. And so there was a daycare hiring, and I said, well, let me just do this. At that point, my goal was to be with him. Wherever he was going to be, I needed to be there. And in order for me to work and be with him, I knew I would have to choose childcare as an option. And so I started doing that, and at the time he was too young to go to the daycare I started at, but I fell in love with daycare, childcare. I fell in love with that experience. And like Lizette, I was barely paid nothing. It was like $4.75. I will never forget that. At the time, it didn't matter to me, but I got in there, and then that's where my journey began. And from then on, it's just been a wonderful transition for me. And then, I have a pretty large family. Me and my husband, we have 7 children. from 9 all the way up to 25. My oldest is 25. And so, you know, at some point, you know, I was like, I can't keep working for the corporate industry. I started working for a bank to make more money. And it was a wonderful experience. I learned a lot about customer service there. But then I started my own service at home, and we did that for about 8 or 9 years. My daughter ran it for the last 1.5 years, because that's when I opened my center in 2013. I learned about Coach in 2012. I did not actually sink my claws in until I want to say it was 2013, 2014, because it was a huge transition with me changing from my family day home. That's what they call it here in Virginia, family day homes, into the center. And so I connected to a mentor even before meeting Coach, and it's so critical for you to connect to mentors, because my mentor was able to get me in rooms that I did not belong in. Even when it came to teaching, she connected me to a job at the college, and I was teaching childcare classes there, and just some other things. So it's important for you to have a mentor. But when I found out about Coach and connected, it transformed everything that I was doing. My thought process as far as what I was doing, I wasn't thinking about being a boss at all until I connected with Coach Andrea. And so it's just been a wonderful experience. But customer service is ingrained in like my total being. I don't know what it is. I love it. I can't operate without focusing on customer service in my everyday life, not just in my program. It's just something that's ingrained in me. Mainly because of who I serve. I serve the ultimate customer service teacher. And so, I'm grateful for that. And it's opened doors for me. And so I'm getting into an arena that I did not have any experience in, or training in, or guidance in. It's just something that's in me, and through being connected to Coach, I have been able to understand that you got to get out what's in. It's not fair for you to hold things in you that are gifts and not share them. Like, that's not even right. That's not even, you shouldn't be doing that. And so that's where I am now. And so just the ability to be able to share that story on this platform is blowing my mind right now. So
I love it, Francis.
My story in a nutshell.
I love it, Francis. Woo! Welcome. I'm so excited. For those of you, all of our guests, what I wanted you to take away from this is that in order for you to talk about it, sometimes you would have had to been in that role or in that position in order to talk about it and give relief to somebody else. So can you imagine your teachers logging on and seeing a person that took it upon themselves to grow professionally and what the end result can be? Imagine if you had a Lizette or a Francis in your world, in your business right now, how much of an impact it would make in your business if you had a Lizette or a Francis, somebody that they started right, both of them started at entry-level positions, and they worked their way from entry-level all the way to what you see today, a legacy, right? So several of you as childcare business owners, you have 20 plus people on your team. Is there anybody on your team that you would like for them to see a vision that can promote legacy? Do you want for your legacy to continue on? I tell you guys, for those of you who don't know, I retired from childcare. But however, my teachers that are still working in the childcare industry, they are like a hot commodity. When childcare in my city found out that I was shifting and transitioning, it didn't take those girls long before they were able to say, thank you, Ms. Dickerson, for everything you've done. Even my new client that's inside of my facility, she's like, can I get your staff? Can I have your staff as well? And then whenever she's doing a change, she always comes and asks me my advice about staff. Because when you take time and you groom and you input and you put into people what they need, you will begin to see them have results like those who are here today, Francis and Lizette, where there is another level to this. It just takes the right mentorship and the right words of encouragement and opportunity. So for those of you who have several staff members, I want you to start looking at them and determining who's ready for legacy, who's ready to go on to the next level with me. So guys, I'm excited because our brainstorming with bosses is pretty candid. So if you have a question about anything that was said from Lizette or Francis, be sure to post it in our chat box. Our chat box is like our main communication right now through this type of webinar, but please use the chat box with any questions you may have. I'm ready to dig in. We've been prepping for this, and we're excited to talk to you, the business owner, about ways to motivate and inspire your team. And I definitely want to begin with serving. I asked Francis to give me 3 topics that she felt most owners need to have. And so as an owner, we want to begin with teaching you how to serve your team. So let's do some contrast. Francis, Lizette, let's talk a little bit about moments where you chose to serve your team instead of respond to your team in a way that could have turned a situation in a tragic way. Is there any moments you can think about where you chose to serve your team? Because we want to teach owners today about serving, how the importance of being able to service their team, having that service mindset.
Absolutely. Well, for me, it's just something that's in my mind to do daily, because I always have to take a temperature, you know, for where they are, like when I walk in, because they're handling my clients, you know, and so the people that they come into contact with, I need those individuals to see me when they interact with my teachers. And so, because there's a certain way that I handle them, and it's with extreme care. And if I come in and my teachers, you know, they're out of character. And when I say out of character, I mean they're just not themselves, or something's going on. I have to be able to notice that. And the only way that I can notice that is if I have a relationship with them. Like otherwise, I wouldn't be able to tell. I wouldn't be able to tell if something was wrong if I didn't have a relationship with them. And so my goal is really often to serve them. And when they see me doing this, it does make a difference. They act differently. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, it's because they feel like they're cared for. And
I love it.
I mean, I don't walk around, I don't complain around them. And sometimes I have stuff to complain about, and not necessarily at the daycare, but you know, sometimes we just have complaints. We have complaints.
Don't we all?
They're not going to be bombarded with my complaints. I wouldn't do that to them. I do talk to them about things that need to be, you know, changed. If we're moving to another level, we talk about it because we talk about changing. So as far as complaints, they don't hear me do that. They don't hear me complaining about clients that I may have. If there's something going on, we'll have a discussion about it, but I try very carefully with them to use a certain type of language, because the language that I use with them is the language I want them to use with me, with the children, with our clients. And so I'm extremely intentional about how I speak around them. And that is one of the ways that I serve them. Of course, we do other things where I give, you know, I buy, you know, lunch a little bit too much. We buy breakfast. We just do things just to kind of help boost you up. It feels good when you have something that you didn't have to pay for, that just kind of makes you feel tingly inside for a minute, you know, a morning shake, coffee, bagel, whatever it is. But I noticed those little things really give them a boost, you know? And so we do little things like that, and other reward mechanisms are in place for them. And basically, I serve them because I want them to know that I care. Because when you know somebody cares, you more than likely are going to care for the things that they care about.
That's so good.
That's when it comes to serving, that's really where my mindset is when it comes to my staff. But yeah, there are a lot of little things that, you know, we do, or that I try to, you know, come up with when I'm interacting with them or preparing for them.
So basically what I hear that as owners, we have 2 responsibilities. Number one, our responsibility is to serve our team. Serve our team, serve our parents, and serve our children. So as a business owner, we got a lot on us. It's a lot that has to go on in our day-to-day. So one of the things that we have to do is to be prepared to service them. And that's why we're here, because maybe you don't have to do all the servicing. I'll give you guys a prime example, because I know Catherine just, if you guys looking in our chat box, Catherine just said, what are some ways that we serve? So some things that I did in my business is I assigned staff members who have a heart for people, who got a heart for caring for people. I assigned them to like our care, our teacher care department. So that meant when birthdays came up, when it was a situation, a loss of a family member, new births, when something happened in my staff's life, that would be my liaison. My staff member that I chose would be my liaison. They would help me with that portion of my business, because it was still important for me to show that I care on that level, but I couldn't be all these places at one time. Those of you that got 10 and 15 and 20 staff members, things happen and you can't be everywhere, but you can assign somebody to be that extension of you to help you deliver that customer service. So that's really good. So serving is really, really clear. And another thing, so many childcare business owners deal with communication issues, but you can't serve anybody you don't have a relationship with. So that's why you have that communication issue with your team, is because you have to change how you serve them. What your thoughts are, Lizette?
I thought that was really good. I definitely loved your teacher care liaison, just because when teachers know that you care, they actually do better in the classroom. They want to work with the children. So as far as serving, I know Catherine asked, what are some ways that you can serve when you're building that relationship? I know that one of my teachers, they're trying to get out of debt, right? And so we're doing our prayer, because we're holistic. So we do have prayer in our childcare in the morning. We do a praise and worship session. So when I'm there in the morning, they hear me praying for her about getting out of debt. She received a book about Dave Ramsey to help get out of debt, so she knows about the snowball effect. I send her YouTube videos. And so it's not just me, because sometimes as owners, we take on that, oh, let me pay that employee's bill. And no, I don't want to pay that employee's bill. I want to give them the resource. So we have to change our mind to give them the tools and resources that they need to succeed, instead of doing it for them, because we don't want to enable them. We want to help them get to the next level. And I always tell my staff, if I'm on this level, I expect you to be on this level as well, because whatever comes from the head trickles down, right?
That's right.
So I definitely want them to know, if I'm receiving tools, they know, they hear Coach. I remember when Coach came to my childcare, and they were like, oh yeah, we know that voice. Yeah.
I love it.
You know, so it's different ways in serving, and not feeling like you're being taken advantage of, because I think a lot of childcare owners, they feel that way sometimes, like, oh, I'm just helping this person do this. I'm paying their bills. I'm picking them up from work, and I'm doing this. As a person that was an employee, you are not obligated to pick anyone up from work. You are not obligated. You're not supposed to pay their bills. You're giving them the tools and resources. If they don't know about budgeting, then you set up a budgeting class in your childcare facility, and you have your staff come to it for a staff meeting. And so you make it mandatory. So those are kind of things. Of course, I like giving my staff things. Just like
love it, and we should. You know, those are in-kind gifts are important, that we do that as business owners, you know.
So they do get things for of course, for Christmas. They get things for Mother's Day, their birthdays. So just like Coach was saying, we have that for Valentine's Day, because I know some of my staff, they don't have someone at home. And so they don't feel that love, or that they don't have a sense of community. So when they come to work, that's their community. And that's how I uphold them and encourage them and uplift them.
I love it.
So
So let me ask a question of all of our guests that's on, all 50 of you. I want to know this. I want to know if it is possible that you may have a goal in mind of how many days you would like to be away from your childcare program without having to go back, knowing that your staff has everything in control. So I want you guys to type that number in for me. Angela says, how do you all think it's okay to hang out with staff? So we're going to answer that in just a minute. But for right now, I want to know a number of what you guys think would be amount of time that you would like to be away from your program, knowing that everything is running successfully. What is the amount of time you would like to be away from your program, knowing that your staff have everything under control? Okay, so Leslie Ann said, I want to be away for 2 days per week. I'm talking about like a straight time frame, like
a vacation, right, Coach? You talking about vacation? Right. Like
I'm talking about lifestyle. Like, listen, I'm talking about lifestyle. Like, I want to know, like, this is my lifestyle. I want to know how many days you all would like to be away from your team, away from your business, without feeling like it's going to fall apart because you're gone. So that's what I'm saying. So Brenda Wright was like, I want to be gone for 30 days. I want to be away from my business, from the day-to-day operations for 30 days. Marcia says for a month. Nadia says for 2 weeks. Mike says for about 15 to 20 days. Lesbian's like, okay, 10 days. All right. And then Jamie says, I only want to check in because I want to open more. Okay. And Angie says 7 days. Catherine says 5 days. All right, so that's our goal. So from this point forward, our conversation is to help you as a childcare business owner get a plan in place to move you in that direction, because we know that we love what we do. We know that we love childcare, and it's nothing for us to show up and do, and be there for our team. It's nothing for us to do that. But I want for you to have that confidence level in the way you are grooming your team, the way you are grooming your staff, where you can literally know that I can move from being in this office every day to being released to do more. So some of that is going to be us addressing your challenges that you're facing. So we know that as owners, you all are facing a few challenges. I do want to tell you this, that my assistant, Christina, just posted the link inside of the group, and I'm posting it myself, where the tickets are on sale for $98. I want you guys to get your tickets so that you can be to the paid event and your team can be there. And we're going to act as your liaison, and we are going to motivate and inspire your team to help you get past these challenges. Because the only reason why you haven't taken that 30-day break, that 20-day break, that 7-day break is because of the challenges that you face in your business, right? Like, if you didn't have no challenges, you would show up, right? Okay, so let's go over that. Several of you are having challenges with communication, and that's why we're saying the solution to communication is serving your team, so that you are able to either extend your reach, empower your team members around you to become leaders. This is the whole setup that Lizette went through. This is the whole setup that Francis went through. Also, you got to get out of fear. Several of you are in fear, like you don't even know why you still, think the same way, do the same things. It's because you're in fear of moving forward. You're in fear of delegating. You're in fear of, somebody said, right. Yep. You're in fear of that. And so when you are in fear of moving forward, you are crippling your team. I'm pretty sure it's somebody on your team that could do that phone call, or could have that conversation, or could, close out your center, or could do a few things more in your business. But because of your fear of, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done right, because of your past experiences, it has crippled your leadership to be able to groom your team to move forward. A lot of you are dealing with inconsistency. Listen, if one thing I'm learning through John Maxwell is that everything falls and begins on leadership.
Right.
Everything. If there's something inconsistent about your team, if there's something inconsistent about your business, trust me, we got to take a look at ourselves and say, what am I allowing as a leader to perpetuate this behavior? What am I overlooking? What is it that I need to shift and change as a leader so that I can get my team back onto a consistent flow of how I want things? Do I have things written down on how I want things? How many times am I going to work with this person to try to redirect this activity to push them into the place of consistency? Am I consistent as a business owner? I know we can talk about that, Lizette. I see your head. I see your head, Francis. I see your head. What you got to say about that?
Woo!
I think that is so true. I think that is so true. Am I consistent as a business owner? Do I hold my staff accountable? Those are important questions just to ask yourself. Do I use my own policies? Like, you know, did I create this and then just put it to the side and just let everything slide? Like, you have to start. I think I was talking about accountability. You have to hold yourself accountable if you're going to hold your staff accountable, especially if I saw 15, 30 days, 2 months in the chat.
Yeah,
you have to build your staff so that you can get there. And if you can't build your staff, you have to get somebody else that can build your staff for you. You have to get those resources and tools in place. I think that's why I created the Destiny Plan.
Yes.
The Destiny Plan walks you through holding your staff consistent with their actions in the classroom.
That's
so
good.
If you're not in the classroom, then you have a resource and a tool that you can pull out. You know how their behavior affects the regulation. You know how soon you're looking for change. You know the professional development or the resources that you want them to put in place to be held accountable, and you know the follow-up. And that I created that plan just because I know, and you'll also know if you need to write your staff up.
That's it.
It gives you documentation to help you do those things and hold yourself accountable so that you can hold your staff accountable. Sometimes we're losing because we're not investing in holding ourselves accountable.
That's right.
And we're not holding ourselves accountable, so we're losing out in our investment, our business. So
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, can I just be honest with you guys? Listen, those of you that are on, it's apparent in our spending habits. Like, if you do not know if this statement applies to you, check your spending habits, right? Check how you manage your own finances, because I guess you might be saying, Coach, what does this have to do with staff? It has everything to do with you. When we look at how we handle our own investment, our investment in our program, you invested into a childcare business. So how are you handling that? How are you handling your personal life? Is a representation of how we're going to handle this next level. You know, I remember reading in my daily devotion that, you know, until I get enough experiences, until I get enough of maximizing or stepping out on my fullest potential, I will constantly be in this same place. So for those of you who are saying, listen, I want a 7-day, I want a 30-day, I want a 10-day, until you start stretching yourself to putting the systems in place, motivating your team, servicing your team, and giving yourself some checkpoints to say, once this is done, then I'm going to do this. You got to step out on your potential in order for it to be maximized, in order for you to really take it to the next level. So, guys, I see Catherine right now. Catherine is being truthful. She's like, Lord, help me be more consistent. I love it. How many of you all that are participating right now need help being consistent? If you need some help being consistent, I want you to, those of you who are on, I want you to type that. If you have some concerns with being consistent, I want you to type that. So while you guys are being honest, I do want to say that I only have 10 tickets that's going to be on sale today. So if, and I think we're down to like 7 or something like that. So we only have a few more tickets left for those of you to get this $98 offer and get your whole team in front of Zoom with their own link, a certificate for us to motivate and inspire your team so that they can be shifted to the next level. Plus, those of you who sign up as a result of today's class, I have my quarterly agenda, which I'm going to talk to you guys about how I use this tool to help my team remain consistent. So in this tool, I give them a monthly calendar so they could go in and do their monthly calendar, but also I was consistent in requiring it in our meetings, right? So I made sure that they brought these to the meetings. And whatever the weekly assignments are that I give my team weekly assignments, their goals and objectives for what they're going to do in their classroom when they need to accomplish it, and also our long-term goal of our company, of what we're doing as an organization. So I'm going to be giving this to you guys. For those of you who sign up, I'm going to give this so that your team can have a resource after our training. They're going to have a resource to help them apply what we talk about. So here's like an activity schedule that they're going to get. So this activity is going to talk to them about how to achieve your big classroom goals and dreams. And when you have your meetings with your team and you're talking about these particular areas of your classroom, they have space for that. Now, here's the thing. This is going to be a download, so they'll never have to buy it again or have it again. They'll always have it in their email. So also, whatever the weekly curriculum is, a lot of times staff aren't consistent because they're disconnected from it. But you as the business owner, if you have a curriculum specialist, you have someone that's really good with the curriculum, or you yourself, if this is your forte, then this is something you should be instilling in your team so that they'll know what's coming up a week before so that they can implement that, because you have to build your enrollment off of your weekly curriculum. And so these are what we call your weekly curriculum section. So they have that. They bring this to the meeting, and I go over week one. I'll go over my weeks with them so they know that in advance. So let me post the link.
I utilize that resource, and it's a good resource to have, especially when you're conducting your meetings with your staff. Event. It helps keep them organized. So those that were saying, oh, I need help with organization, I need help with consistency, that's a really good tool. It has all the information in it. Coach even breaks down the themes for you to utilize and give you talking points. And so I like it. I love it, actually. I utilize that resource.
I love it. Thank you, Lizette. And so also I sell through my bulletin boards. I don't know if you guys are selling like enrollment or spaces available or now hiring or, potty training. If you sell, like if you are a marketer, you're really good with marketing, you should have some bulletin boards up in your business that's promoting your services, that's promoting what you're offering. And so I require my team to pre-plan their bulletin boards, because that was something that's important to my organization, was what parents see when they walk in. So you get the whole bulletin board section, you get where they can keep up with their own time in this planner. And also, like Lizette was saying, you get like your notes section where they can take your notes for when they come to your meetings. And I also have the layout of the early learning standards. So with the early learning standards in here, I'm already giving them level 1 standards, level 2 standards. So I've done, as a curriculum specialist myself, my certification is in curriculum as a curriculum specialist. So I've set up the standards for each level so that they'll know what they're teaching the children and what concepts, because their learning concepts will grow over time. And so I take them through 4 semesters, and it's going to be free for those of you who sign up, and it's going to be a download copy, so they'll never have to buy it again. You can just print it out each month, have your team go through this each month, tell them to bring it to the meeting each month. So what we are doing is empowering you to be the best leader you can be for your childcare business by giving you this tool. This is a value that's worth, I don't know, I think I was selling this for $59. So this is a value. And somebody said, "Ooh, that's good." And so make sure you get your ticket for $98. And when those of you who get the ticket get the free download to the quarterly agenda. So let's talk about another challenge that childcare business owners are facing. So Francis, why did you say that childcare business owners should do more resting right now?
That really came about by some recent occurrences that happened with me. And I felt ill like recently, and I knew when I was shut down, God made it so that I could not do anything but really just think about my behaviors. And so when I got ill, it was on the 18th. I got ill, and it wasn't COVID. I did a COVID test. That wasn't it. But whatever it is, it took me down. And I realized prior to that happening, I was go, go, go. I wasn't really resting. I was handed some additional responsibilities. So I know that that was, you know, something that kind of happened that I had to adjust to, but I wasn't taking care of myself and I wasn't resting. And when you don't rest, and I'm not talking about sleeping, I mean rest. When you don't rest, you are setting yourself up for failure because you think that you can come in and operate on a level that you know, feel that you might be able to do, but you can't. Some things are going to be, you know, left undone. Or it's not going to be done to the degree that you could do if you were healthy and well and energized and, you know, just feeling your best. And so when teachers aren't getting rest, the children are going to pay for that. Like, you're not going to be able to give them 100%. And you know how the children are. They pick up immediately when something's wrong. They pay attention. They pick up right away. And so I really thought that rest was missing. And then with all this happening, you know, in our nation right now, a lot of people are just not really, as far as the people that I communicate with, not really taking time to rest. They're really anxious about things, you know, which causes you to not be able to rest well. And so, you know, I've been paying attention to that a lot with my teachers too. Do you need me to cover you? What do you need to do? Do we need to take some time off? Do I need to close down? We closed yesterday. We did not operate on Friday, and my teachers were able to go out and do things that they needed to do, and get rest and tend to their families. And, you know, we pick days that are not just holidays, just, you know, random days where you need to prepare and get, you know, ready for whatever's coming next. And so rest is critical, because if you don't get rest, at some point it's going to affect you. It's going to affect your body, you know, and that's just the reality. Rest is one of the things that we have to be at a top level.
100%.
Yeah.
That's it. So what I see Francis saying, that I think that childcare business owners that are on right now, how is my reception? Can you guys, is it real time or am I kind of slow?
It's good. I can hear you and see you well.
Okay, perfect. So what I want for childcare business owners to walk away and take away from this is, I want you to take away that as a leader, you want to empower and inspire your teachers on how to rest, you know, and teach them how to create a schedule. You know, like one thing I do with childcare business owners is I give them a notepad. It's called JumpStart Your Day Notepad. And it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I give them like a tickler or a checklist of things that they can do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so that I am teaching balance and teaching organization of how to handle and manage your time and your day. Because if I'm the leader and I'm saying this is how you grow your business, this is how you help your team, this is how you shift, then I have to empower all my clients to be able to do it. And so I realized, like, if I say, well, here, take this book, learn this, here, take this book, learn this, here, take this, learn this, do this, hold on, let me make it where you can see it. Do this, check this out, do this, change this diaper, do this. If I'm giving them all of this stuff, it can get overwhelming if I never say, okay, on Monday, this is what you do on Monday. On Tuesday, you do this on Tuesday. On Wednesday, you do this on Wednesday. So like, if I never sat down and just really gave a pace for how to get things done, I'm not producing leaders.
Right. And can I co-sign that, Coach? I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to co-sign what you just said. And I'm going back to Tuesday, August 8th, I think it was the 18th, when I got ill out of the blue. I did not return to my program. I didn't step foot in my program until this past Monday in the week that we're in. And nothing was left undone. All the teachers showed up. They didn't need me. I would call and say, hey, are y'all all right? And I knew things were good, but they didn't need me. And so that in and of itself, because sometimes you think you got to be here, and I don't really feel like things are going to fall apart if I'm not here. I don't, because I have a great team of ladies, but it's just something in you. Sometimes you just want to be in there. So I am in my program every day because I want to be here. I want to, you know, just make changes and whatnot. But this last episode just showed me that they've got it under control. But I'm going back to what you were just saying about the systems. That is why when I learned about the importance of systems from you, that changed everything in my program. Everything.
I love it. I love it. So ladies, that's where we are. Those of you bosses that's that's dealing with some challenges, that's where you are. So I want to talk about another challenge, and Lizette, I definitely want you to chime in on this one. But we have also the challenge of taking timely initiatives, wanting to increase their training and improve. So let's help them. Let's help the owners out today. I know that it was a personal initiative that you took, but I remember your story on how you shifted from working for someone as a director to having the opportunity to have your own, where the owner was like, I see something in you. And she was like, you need your own school, right?
Yes. And that was a hard transition for me. Because I was used to assisting other people. And sometimes when you just get in the habit of assisting other people, you kind of, you just fall into that routine of, I just have to help. But taking the other road to being a boss, my own boss, it was intriguing. It was interesting. It was a risk. And so I understand what Frances says when she says that, you know, you don't necessarily have something to do in your childcare, but you just want to be there, right? Because that's your baby. That's your baby, and you want to take care of your baby. So you feel like you have to engage with your baby every day. But I knew that I needed that professional training, that personal training, so that even as a business owner and speaking to a director or speaking to a lead teacher, that I could know, that I knew for myself what I was talking about when I told them to do certain things. And so going to extra classes or taking additional professional development just made sense for me, because I needed that knowledge and that wisdom to give to my employees, right?
I love it. I love it. And so it takes leadership to recognize leadership, to push leadership, right? It takes for us to self-groom ourselves. So this is my question for all of my participants. Please list the last book you read on leadership. Please type that in the last 30 days. What's the name of the last book you read on leadership? I'm gonna coach somebody today. Y'all gonna either be like, Coach, I'm not answering you, or yes, I'm reading, I'm stepping up to the plate. What I want to hear it right now. Type in. It's almost 50 of y'all on, so therefore it should be somebody typing in some type of book they read in the last 30 days that has to do with leadership, or you currently are reading it. Come on, help us out. All right,
Come on, y'all.
all right,
Yes,
all right. Developing a leader within you, John Maxwell, Dave Ramsey Leadership. All right. All right, servant leadership. Come on now. I love it. The E-Myth, that's good. Michelle Amos, John Maxwell, I love it. All right. Robin says, I don't have the books. Come on, Robin, you got to get with it. Dave Ramsey, Entre Leadership. Catherine Moss, His Feet in High Places. Okay, Lovely Team, Think and Grow Rich. Dave Ramsey, Entre Leader. LaShawn Carter, Dave Ramsey, Entre Leader. Let me hold my book, babe. My Entre Leader book. Okay. So perfect. So this is the book for those of you who are part of our Jumpstart Your Day prayer team, prayer line, Jumpstart Your Day, Childcare Boss prayer line. This is the book that we're reading, and this book is game changer. So I recommend this book for all of you that are on the line that is saying, I'm working with a staff, I want to self-improve. I recommend this book. Successful Women Think Differently by Valerie Burton. Tamika, that is good, Becoming a Leader by Marcy Lloyd says, Becoming a Leader by Dr. Miles Monroe. I love it. Catherine Moss says, I have an entrepreneurship book as well. Diana Pont says, Identify Leadership by Oprah's Hubby. I don't know. Did she say about Oprah Winfrey's husband or Oprah's hubby? That's a good one. Write it in for me, Diane, so I can understand. But anyway, ladies, so listen, Mike Wells, $1 Trillion Coach, the principal, Ray Dalio. So listen, what are we saying to you guys? This is a resource we want for all of you all to tap into if you haven't already. But this is how you become a better boss. This is how you become a better leader. This is how you become a better executor of vision. Because in order for you to execute a vision, you need people. All right. And that's why we're dealing with a lot of these challenges. So listen to these challenges. Fear of change. Several of you are saying your staff is in fear of this change that's happening right now. They're in fear of what's, how you got to run your business, how you got to do temperatures now, how you got to be careful, how you got to be careful with the diaper changes, how you got to wear your mask. Several of them are in fear. And so we must deal with fear, because if you don't have anybody speaking to your team members, we don't know what they're doing personally for that inner man growth and development. And so with that gift being on my life, that's why I'm saying get your ticket, sign your team up, because that gift to minister to the inner man is on my life. And I got to help you all with the fear and anxiety. I've been reading a lot about what happens during this pandemic that is not necessarily a respiratory issue. It's a fear and anxiety issue. I read that this pandemic that we are experiencing, that it affects more women than men. And the reason why it's affecting more women than men is because we are now having to work. We're now having to deal with our children on our mind, our loved ones on our mind. We are the caretakers. We are the nurturers. Like, we got to run and get the food. We got to cook the food. We got to work. It's a lot of things that we as women have to do. And we think that the teachers don't want to show up because of us. They're thinking about their own kids. Like, I don't want to be out right now and then have to go home and work with my own kids too. Like, then, we got this online learning going on. We got a lot of things that's going on with teachers. And so we got to be able to deal with not just the work ethics of who they are or what they do, but we have to deal with the inner man, right? We have to deal with the mental man, right? We got to deal with that. And we got to, as leaders, we can't be afraid to transform. We can't be afraid to be consistent. We can't be afraid to learn a new skill, to acquire a new understanding, a new portion of wisdom. We cannot be afraid of that. And that is why we're still dealing with the fear of change. Because when was the last time you said, okay, well, my team is dealing with the fear of change. What do I need to empower myself with to empower my team? And that's what this course is going to do. Magda says, how great leaders inspire to take action, by Simon Sinek. I love it. All right. Loyalty is a challenge. Being able to work together is a challenge. Educating themselves is a challenge. Time management is a challenge. And follow through. Well, we talked a little bit about that earlier, right, ladies? How the right systems with the right accountability is what's going to empower your team to follow through and to work together. So here's what we talked about in JumpStart Bosses of America this morning. We talked about some of us got to get better at putting teams together. Any one of you ladies want to elaborate on putting a team together? And being flexible, accountability?
Well, what I will say about that is it starts at the very beginning. And this is something that took me a minute to learn. But as soon as I realized I had to actually change the whole way I interview people, once I realized what I was missing, I began to see a different crowd of people come through my building as far as staff goes. And so a lot of the issues that we are seeing, we can actually prevent in the interview process. And so one of the things that I look for is somebody who is on top of their character. Because if their character is shaky, like, you don't know what you're going to do. You never know what the wind will blow them, however it blows. But when you focus on character building from the very beginning, once I did that, I started noticing that the maturity level of my team was completely different. And so some of the things that are happening now with the team, they aren't surprising me so much. It's what we prepared for. And so that's what I think that, when you go back to the beginning, and if you're in a situation where you have to start from like right now, it can be done. But I think that when we think about making changes from the very beginning and screening in a certain way, then it can help us, in the future.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Go ahead, Lizette.
I was going to say, I totally agree with Francis, because you can't train character. I can train you in any other area, but if you are not on time, if you don't believe in being on time, if you don't believe in having a good work ethic, if you lie, cheat, and steal, I can't work with you, right? I can train you on how to change a diaper. I can train you on how to talk with parents. I can train you on how to answer the phone. I can train you on paperwork. I'm going to be talking about emotional health next week. I can train you on how to work with children that are emotional, right? But I can't train you. I'm not raising you. I need you to already have certain characteristics and traits when you walk in the door. And so the things that I'm looking for, like Coach talked about in her earlier training today, I can groom you on some things, but other things I cannot. I'm just not willing to groom you on. And so knowing what you're looking for, what you want, and what you're willing to give, you or your administrative team, because it may not be you that's doing the hiring, but it's you that kind of has to do the firing. So letting them know up front what you're looking for. I teach from style, standards that yield learning excellence. So knowing your standards that's going to yield your learning excellence in your program is very, very important.
I love it. I love it.
Flexibility. I'm sorry, you said something about flexibility. During this time, we just knowing you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to get on Zoom and conduct an interview. You have to be willing to give a tour virtually, and your staff have to be willing. Listen, if you have older staff and you feel like I just don't feel like showing them how to use Zoom, you're not being flexible. You're not giving your staff the resources that they need to succeed in your business. And so then that means you have to appoint someone that's going to teach them how to get online virtually, because guess what? Your inspector is still coming in. They still need those professional development, and they still need to know how to work with the children. And for those of you that have been closed since March and it's just now opening up in September, you're going to have, like Coach said, as adults, if we're dealing with anxiety, if we're dealing with any disorders, that our children are dealing with those same things. And we have to know how, as teachers, how to work with our children, because we may see a rise in temper tantrums. We may see a rise in separation anxiety. We may see a rise in behavior because the children have been home with their parents without a routine since March. And so we have to prepare our staff on how to work with our children and our parents now on a whole different playing field. So we have to be flexible. I'm sorry.
Yes, I know it's good, because that's exactly what I know that Francis and you will be talking about to the teachers. So we're talking to the owners right now. We're talking to the owners so that you can get your staff signed up, get your ticket so that we can do the part to getting your staff signed up. We're talking to the owners now about that. And Christina just posted the link again. I think we have a few more tickets left, but they won't last long. I know that much. But what you see Lizette and Francis talking about, that is what we want to make sure that we instill in your teacher. So we're talking to you, the owner, but if you have not started having these type of discussions with your team, don't put that pressure on yourself. Let us do that portion of your staff development and staff training so that they can hear from a different perspective. And then you will just do the follow-up after this conversation. You will be that follow-up, that encourager, that motivator. Okay, so for instance, myself, my personality is a motivator and an encourager, right? But then when I needed somebody to come in and talk about like finances, I would call somebody else in. If I need somebody to come in and talk about social emotional health with children, I would have somebody else come in. If I needed them to learn about leadership, I would have somebody else come in, because my thing is, I want to motivate everybody. I want to get you going. I want to get you out there. I want to get you doing it. But then there are some people that learn differently, and they needed a different set of content so that they can really process what, oh, that's what Miss Dickerson been saying all this time. Girl, yeah, I've been telling you the same thing. You know, you get some people come in, they'll say the same thing you've been saying, and then all of a sudden, one of my staff members come to me like, yeah, Miss Dickerson, when so-and-so told me to do so-and-so, I really get it now. And I'm looking like,
it just clicked.
you finally get it? You get it now? You know, so that's why we're doing this, because you do need that liaison, especially right now. You want to empower your team from a different perspective. All right, so Catherine signed up. Woohoo! This personalities. Woo! 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 So Vicky Griggs says something about this personality. So what I want to say is this. I want to say that several of you want for staff to take on a sense of ownership. That's a big topic. That's a big topic. We're gonna talk about this one, then we're gonna get ready to go. So, like, I got a lot to say about that subject, but let's just because if I say what I'm thinking is, we want for individuals to take on a sense of ownership, but I was premature when I thought about that. I was premature in my leadership. I was frustrated in my leadership. Like, why won't they just take ownership of this? Why won't they treat it the way I treat it, right? Why won't they do what I do? And I had to come to realize that I did something different up here that caused me to have a different behavior. And until I can get in my team what's in me, the behavior that they're doing is based on the level that they are on. So until you as an owner, those of you who are watching as owners, until we as owners change this ourselves and then learn how to help change their thought process, they're not going to be able to take ownership, because it's not theirs. Until a person understands how to labor over another man's work as if it's their own, they're not going to capture that. And then if we don't have a growth plan in place, a professional growth plan in place, where are we sending them? What do we want them to take ownership of?
Right.
That's good.
Right.
Did I just say it all?
No,
Coach, can I add something that we did about? So when it comes to taking ownership, I agree with everything that you said. And one of the things that I started paying attention to with my staff is their skill sets. And yes, I want them to come in and do the jobs that they were hired to do, but I also began to pay attention to the things that they are passionate about. And so I had a particular teacher who, oh my gosh, the way that she interacts with our clients and our parents at the end of the day is just, it blows my mind. And so what I decided was she needed to become our customer care coordinator. So that title just came out of the blue as a result of watching her. And so she is responsible for the care that goes on in our facility, and she loves being able to, she knows she's the one that we look to do that, and it kind of brightens her day, I notice as well. And then we have another teacher who I found out a few years ago loves to cook, and I never knew that. We just, in conversation, I found out, and so I was like, well, look, can you do this, this activity with our children on a regular basis where they're learning about cooking? And so I think when it comes to giving them an opportunity to take ownership, we really should focus, at least for me, what worked for me was focusing on what their gifts were. And I noticed that when we did that and they were able to work their gifts, while they were at work, it changed the whole atmosphere. And so they look forward to doing these things.
Absolutely. Okay, Lizette, your turn. I'm sorry. What? Princess just got me crunk. I'm excited.
That's very good. Just like if you have someone that's good with babies, you don't want them in the preschool room because their voice may not be strong enough to work with preschoolers. So you have to, that's all back to our screening process, talking to the staff, the onboarding process, that works all hand in hand. So you can't get to the step of ownership if you don't go through the basics. And we have to remember, we have to go back to the basics. We have to lay the foundation for our staff so that they can grow. And then also that mindset portion that Coach Andrea was talking about, our mindset. Are you going into your childcare and you're saying, oh, you didn't sweep my rugs today? Oh, you didn't put up my bulletin board? Or are you going in with that, oh, it's mine, instead of sharing that load? Or whoever you have, remember, because it may not be you in that particular position, you may have a director. So you have to make sure that your director is talking to your staff appropriately. Also, bring your staff. When you go back in this week or next week or whenever you go back in, talk to one of your staff that's been there the longest. Because it has to be a reason. If you've been in business for 9 years and that staff person has been there 6 years, find out why that staff person has been there 6 years. You know, if you've been in business for 1 year, because if you're having high turnover, then you may have to start looking at the administration. You have to start looking at yourself because you shouldn't just have high turnover after high turnover after high turnover. There's something that you have to change. And right now we're looking to change child cares around the world. We want child cares to be better. They're looking at us, everybody. They want us now to be teachers because the school agers have to learn virtually. And you know, if you have a kindergarten child, that child is not reading yet, so you have to help that child. So right now at this portion, you have to take inventory. We want child care to be the best across the nation, right? And we want them to, we know that several of our child care employees, they're not in college yet. Some of them haven't gone to college. And if you're independently owned or private, you're working with what you have, right? So we're here to help, we're here to train, but we're also here to push you as well to change your mindset, change how you're talking to your staff, and give them the resources and tools that they need so that they can have ownership of your investment.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so, ladies, as we prepare, we're going to get ready to do some of our final words. But these are some things that came to me because, you know, I just got crunk all of a sudden by all the information that these two ladies shared that is so valuable. But I just want to make sure that you all pace yourself by giving yourself a goal. As a business owner, give yourself a goal and a timeline to have these things tackled and dealt with, all right? So that means, for me, turnover was very high. So looking at the woman in the mirror, that meant I didn't know how to hire. I didn't know how to ask the right questions. I didn't know how to dig deep. I didn't know how to go through a hiring process. So then, I went through like 50 people in 1 year in my first year in business. I knew business, I knew childcare, I knew how to get it in there and get that done. But the hiring of people, if God didn't do it, it wasn't getting done, okay? So that's just where I was in my journey. I had to self-develop and grow. But that's when you have to recognize, like, this is the area I need help in. I can't cry about it. I can't shove it under the rug. I can't pretend like this is something that isn't happening. It's real. It's happening. How do I change? I change by self-developing. How do I empower my next leader in line? I empower them by making sure they have this course or that this is a part of preliminary course. So let's look at our book. So when you learn from Dave Ramsey teaches us that before he brought on a team member, they had to go through a preliminary course. They had to learn some preliminary pieces to his business before he brought them on. And so that's something that I was like, I shifted the game when I did my new hire checklist, because it was a few things that I wanted my team to do before they were even brought on, because these were some basic things that I needed for them to have walking through the door. That was able to help me decipher between those who was going to move forward like me, or those who didn't value getting the work done. So then that's why I was able to help have a team with me from 2014 to the day I decided 2000 and whatever to shift and retire. So that's how I was able to keep a team with me that long, working with me and supporting me. I'm not telling you it's been easy, but that happened for me because I started thinking differently and I started putting in different processes and systems. So this morning in my quiet time with talking with Coach K, we were going over the topic, and he said the same thing that Francis said. Many of us are bringing in staff wrong from the beginning, and then we end up with these challenges like don't want to follow through, don't want to continue their education, don't want to prep their class before and after, don't want to adapt, don't want to achieve their CDA. So we got a lot of things that they don't want to do. Well, the way we're going to change and move forward is to make sure that these are values that we discuss before hiring, and then we ask questions to determine if this is their value as well. So that is going to help us. Now that they're there, now that we have this challenge, either you're going to keep them and take them back through a 90-day process, or you're going to continue to look for somebody new because it's happening, it's there, and now you're saying, I'm at a point where I need a solution, and those are my solutions. Take them back through a 90-day process and prepare to bring on someone else. I teach all of my bosses that's surrounding me that hiring is not an option. It's a mandatory weekly goal that you put on your list to do every single week. I don't care if your staff is fully staffed. In order for you to get better, you got to keep looking for the best.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get some final thoughts from Lizette. You guys, we do have, I think, maybe a few more tickets left, but we're almost sold out. Go ahead and get your ticket so that you guys. Huh?
No, I was just saying, get your ticket.
Oh, get your ticket, and don't forget, those of you who sign up for today, you also get a bonus quarterly agenda download. So this will be able to be given to your team. Now, for those of you who saying, I want to have a physical copy, great. You'll take the quarterly agenda that we send you, because it comes with the front, it comes with the back, it comes with everything interior, right? It's not physical, it's a download. But you take the download, save it to your computer, and then you'll send it to like Staples, Office Max, Office Depot, and you'll tell them that you want to get these printed. So you can have these printed locally if you want to give your team a physical one. They can add these rims and everything, or not rims, but what do you call this, spiral? They can add the spiral, excuse me, and everything. So you can either give it to your team, print it out from your own printer, or take it to a print shop and make it where it's a portion of, it's a part of what they do. Every meeting they go to, they bring it, all right? So into your hands, Lizette and Francis. Close out with some thoughts.
I just want to say thank you, Coach. Thank you so much for having us on today. Thank you in advance for next week. I am looking forward to talking to childcare teachers on embracing emotions equally. I think it's very important as we transition back into our classrooms that we begin to work with the children and just having the tools and the strategies that we need to have great classroom success. And so that you as a childcare boss can see success as well in your classrooms, and you can market your classrooms in that way. So I'm excited. I can't wait to meet them next week and see you guys hopefully as well. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you, Lizette.
Yes, I'm excited too. I thank you for the platform to be able to do this, Coach. I greatly appreciate it, because sometimes things are in you and it's just burning, and then you come along, you know, so I appreciate that. And I also will be speaking about peace in the pandemic. And so a lot of us are missing out on peace right now. People don't even know where to find it, but it can be found and you deserve it. And so I want to talk about that and how we can get to that place where we're at peace so that we can extend peace to others. If we don't have it, we can't give it. And so I'm excited about talking about some techniques and ideas on how we can create peace in ourselves and in our businesses. So thank you so much. It's been fun. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. I look forward to what we're going to do to further the childcare industry. So I appreciate you all being our panelists today. If you guys can, if you all enjoyed today, please type in 1. Don't, before you leave, type in 1 so we can let our panelists know how much we enjoyed them. So if you enjoyed today, look, Mike Wells gave us like 15 ones. All right. All right. And so, Christina, I want you to go ahead. If you're on, Christina, I want you to go ahead and cut the sale off. I will not open it back up. Go ahead and cut it off if they haven't gotten their tickets by, what time is it? What time you got, Lizette? Huh?
4:04.
All right. If they have not purchased their tickets now by 4:04, then they have an option to get it at regular price of $197. All right. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for everybody that purchased your ticket. You guys will get your quarterly agenda download, and I get. So I'm getting tongue tied. I am so excited to see you guys on September the 12th. It's gonna be good. Woo! I hope that you guys enjoyed brainstorming with us today. We wanted to do just a simple talk and just do it, you know, like conversational style so that we all can just pitch in and ask questions and brainstorm together. So today was amazing. Ladies, you guys did an amazing job. I love you all.
Love you, Coach.
Raise their hands. Let me see.
Francis.
Love you too.
So much. All right, ladies. Well, thank y'all so much. Thank you to everybody that purchased your ticket. We are officially ready for Saturday. It's gonna be good. Take care. Bye, you guys. Keep watching your emails. You guys are gonna get some links so that you can get your team signed up. Bye, you guys.